Islamic historiography is built on massive biographical dictionaries. These classical texts contain thousands of interconnected lives, recorded in dense, continuous blocks of Arabic. Reading them accurately requires executing a highly precise data extraction. The researcher must isolate a single individual's timeline without getting tangled in the surrounding historical noise. We are applying this extraction process to one specific subject, Ali bin Hujr al-Sadi, a prominent authority in Hadith transmission who lived across the 2nd and 3rd Islamic centuries. This text shows exactly how a subject's historical footprint can be buried. The primary entry belongs to Ali bin Hujr, but the author heavily embeds the names of other massive historical figures, like Al-Bukhari and Ahmad bin Hanbal, directly into his biography. This creates a severe conflation trap. A careless reading will mistakenly assign the theological battles, written works, or political actions of these famous secondary figures to Ali bin Hujr himself. To prevent this, our analysis operates under a strict constraint. We will make zero external assumptions. We will only extract facts explicitly verified and isolated within this single document. A biographical entry cannot be read as a simple linear story. It is a dense dataset, and it demands rigid compartmentalization. This split-screen framework shows our extraction methodology. On the left, the raw source text. On the right, an analytical ledger, divided into strict categories: chronology, network, tangents, output. We extract every verifiable data point from the raw text and force it into its structural category. An amateur reading absorbs the text passively, risking the merger of distinct historical events. This ledger system physically blocks that conflation. By forcing every claim to be sorted by strict attribution, we guarantee the integrity of the data. We begin the extraction by anchoring Ali bin Hujr in time and space. The text provides his birth year through a direct quote, 154 after the Hijra. His geographical footprint begins in Iraq. The text confirms he initially embedded himself in the dense intellectual hub of Baghdad. We track a massive relocation eastward. He left the capital and settled on the Khorasan frontier in Marv, specifically residing in the village of Zarzum. The author also provides a negative constraint, carefully documenting who Ali bin Hujr did not meet. Despite traveling through Kufa and living concurrently with early heavyweights, he missed crossing paths with the masters Malik bin Anas and Hamad bin Zayd. These specific coordinates map his movements precisely. They define him as a traveler bridging the intellectual centers of Iraq and Khorasan during a highly specific window in the 2nd and 3rd centuries. We shift to his intellectual network, applying principles of Ilm al-Rijal, the science of biographical evaluation. The text provides a clear list of his teachers. We extract names like Ismail bin Jafar, Sharik the Judge, Hushaym, and Ibn al-Mubarak. But the historical gravity of his network is found in the next generation down. This network graph maps his canonical students. His pupils include al-Bukhari, Muslim, al-Tirmidhi, and al-Nasa'i. By isolating this data, the text proves his position, absorbing early narrations and funneling them directly into the authors of Sunni Islam's primary hadith collections.
Ali bin Hujr operated as a critical bottleneck node, physically bridging the early generation of narrators and the final canonical authors. Next, we extract how his contemporaries evaluated his precision as a transmitter. Al-Nasa'i provides a highly technical 3-part appraisal. He categorizes Ali bin Hujr as thika, trustworthy, mamun, reliable, and a hafiz, denoting a master of memorization. Abu Bakr al-Khatib confirms the relocation to Mar was successful, noting his hadith became widely celebrated. And Abu Bakr al-Ayyan places him at the very top of the regional hierarchy, ranking him as one of the 3 foundational mashayikh of Khorasan. But immediately following these appraisals, the text presents a massive hazard for researchers: the theological tangent. This ledger diagram shows the author detouring into a massive historical digression about the Mihnah, the violent 9th century Inquisition.
Buried inside this tangent is the primary conflation trap, centering entirely on his famous student, al-Bukhari. The text mentions the highly controversial book Afal al-Ibad. A linear reader might mistakenly attach this to the main subject of the biography, but strict extraction proves the text assigns authorship of this book exclusively to al-Bukhari. Strict historiography relies on rigid boundaries. We must insulate the teacher's profile from the theological controversies and written treatises that belong entirely to his students. We conclude the extraction by isolating the final verified outputs directly attributed to Ali bin Hujr himself. The text explicitly confirms his authorship of the book Ahkam al-Quran. It also preserves his poetry, which reveals a highly regulated pedagogical method. He enforced a strict limit of teaching exactly 100 short, high-quality hadiths per day to his students. Finally, Abu al-Abbas al-Dughuli narrates a specific biographical anecdote regarding local patronage in Marv. Local scholars attempted to send him a gift of sugar, rice, and clothing. Ali bin Hujr outright rejected the delivery, replying with poetry stating he would never trade his dignity for worldly scraps after completing 90 Hajj pilgrimages. These artifacts synthesize into a clear psychological profile, a fiercely independent scholar who protected both his daily teaching methodology and his financial autonomy. We finalize the ledger by extracting the end of his timeline. Cross-referenced by al-Bukhari and al-Bashani, the exact date of his death is recorded as a Wednesday, mid-month in Jumada al-Uva, the year 244 AH. The text closes with a final, practical demonstration of his historical utility, a single hadith embedded at the end of the entry. This tree diagram illustrates the exact chain of transmission. Ali bin Hujr narrates from Ismail bin Jafar down to al-Ala, to his father, reaching the root at Abu Hurairah. The text delivers the hadith. Charity does not decrease wealth, and God increases honor through forgiveness. What began as a dense, overwhelming block of classical text has been systematically parsed into a clean, highly structured historical profile. By strictly enforcing the boundaries of factual extraction and resisting the pull of historical tangents, researchers can accurately resurrect the critical architects of intellectual history.